Nicole, you started to talk a little bit about this, but let's talk a little bit more about how COVID-19 has shifted the view of manufacturing staffing.
Absolutely. I think one of the key things that I called out before was about work from home and the differences with manufacturing and how it's difficult. You obviously can't work from home if you're working in manufacturing, supporting a production line, something like that. So I think it's been really interesting from a safety perspective, even because people have a lot of concerns about COVID-19 reducing the spread. How do we know that we're safe at work? Things like that. So that's something that I know that I've put a major focus on in the past year. And it's something that in all of our recruiting, something we've never really talked about before was yes, and masks are required on site, and we'll take your temperature when you come in. And we've got a health declaration checklist that you'll fill out every day. I think that has really shifted our viewpoint and kind of how we attract talent and make sure that they know this is a safe place to be. That's something that is different than before. We'd try to attract our talent previously, by showing them what a great workplace we are, that you can have fun at work, that there's opportunity for growth, things like that. And all of that is still so important, but there's this added safety factor as well that has really been an impact now. And that's something that we're sharing with our teams and anyone that's doing any recruiting. That's one of the key points that we're bringing up.
Yeah, it's something that really the industry's been struggling with for quite some time, even prior to the pandemic, right? That idea that it's a dark, dirty, dangerous
Right.
industry. We know it's not. We know the tremendous, focus on safety that manufacturing has always had. But trying to communicate that more and having that be a primary messaging point in your recruiting, that's kind of a new perspective.
Yeah, definitely.
Mike, do you have any reactions to that point? And what have you seen in terms of recruiting beyond,
Yeah, and Joe and I have this conversation about how do you encourage new entrants into the workforce to convince them that that recruiting is a great long-term opportunity and career path. And we'll let Joe talk about it, but also some of that is marketing to parents, especially if you're going into high schools and community colleges. Yeah. But yeah, we're seeing that some of the same challenges in terms of bringing people on board. Obviously, the safety and how they look at that is an issue. I think one of the questions around vaccinations is going to come up. Employers probably do have a legal ability to mandate vaccinations, but do they want to? Probably not from a culture, from an employee management standpoint. Are
you hearing that at all? We have that discussion quite a bit here in Lansing. You see it in the media all the time. And we do know that you're right. Employers do have the ability to. EEOC has been clear on that. But within our membership, we're not seeing people mandate that because exactly what we're talking about today. The labor pool is too tight. They are not going to alienate anybody by scaring them off over something like that. So are you seeing that within your client base? Anybody mandating vaccines?
No, I've not seen anybody talk about mandating, and everybody that we've had that conversation is exactly on the lines that you mentioned, that it just doesn't make sense from an employee attraction and retention standpoint.
We see it occasionally in some healthcare clients that they mandate it, but that's been the only place that we've seen it.
Sure. And feel free, anybody who's any of the participants, if you guys want to chime in on the chat about what, if any policies that you might have, we'd be interested to hear that. But yeah, it's certainly a big topic, but it seems to be a little bit more, like you said, for the healthcare sector and for media attention, for sure.